Assalamu alaikum, dear friends, how are you? All of us have to safeguard our interests, our rights. Those people who are alert enough, active enough in doing all that, they are in a far better position as compared to those people who are not so vigilant. What does it mean? What is required to become active enough for one's own well-being? We need just one habit to develop, to learn, to practice, and of course to seek the fruits of it. That one habit or quality is called being an assertive person. Being an assertive person. In other words, we need to become an assertive person, particularly in certain societies like that of ours. We cannot leave it to luck or to the circumstances. Rather, we need to be proactive enough for knowing, securing our rights, and of course for working to achieve our interests. Today we have made it a topic of our discussion how to become, how to learn and practice the skills of assertiveness. So let's begin. Let's start from the very definition of it. The ability to express thoughts, feelings, and needs in a clear, direct, and respectful manner while maintaining boundaries and considering others' perspectives as well. So, that is the definition of assertiveness skills. Let's move forward and let's try to understand what are the key characteristics of it. These are seven in numbers. The first one is confidence, self confidence. We need to be confident enough that yes, not only it's my right, rather I can achieve it, rather I can learn the skill of assertiveness. The second characteristic, it is clear communication. We need to learn and practice the clear communication skills. Number three, respectful tone. To be to learn and practice the assertiveness skills, we need to have confidence, we need to have the clear communication, and we need to develop a respectful tone. Number four, we have to practice the active listening. Not only the listening, rather the active listening. What is this active listening, by the way? Stay focused on what somebody is saying. Look upon their faces, look into their eyes, give facial expressions, sometimes gestures, even leaning forward, turning your neck so that let the other person feel we are totally focused. Not only letting the other person feel, rather trying to genuinely focus upon that particular person as well. So then the fifth key characteristic of assertiveness skills is boundary setting. Boundary setting, drawing a line, the rules and the regulations, the prohibited areas, my personal matters. No matter with whom I am interacting, I do have certain rights, certain no-go areas for other people. This is a prohibited area, and this is, of course, a no-go area for you. You have access up to this point and not beyond that at all. The sixth key characteristic of assertiveness skills is emotional intelligence. I think a good life is absolutely not possible without having the emotional intelligence. And the emotional intelligence says understanding and managing your own emotions under trying to understand and manage the emotions of other people as well. The seventh key characteristic is self-awareness. We need to be aware about ourselves, about our weaknesses, about our strengths, about our resources, about our lacking. We need to be well aware about ourselves, which is called self-awareness. So these are the seven key characteristics of assertiveness skills. The next part of it asks that what are the benefits of it. Obviously, unless and until there aren't important benefits, there is no use of learning or practicing it. Here, there are seven major important benefits of assertiveness skills. The first major benefit is improved relationships. Our relationships keep improving with the passage of time. Very important thing indeed. The second major benefit of assertiveness skills is increase the self-esteem. Self-esteem is also important enough. What is this self-esteem? It is our own respect into our own eyes, our own importance into our own eyes. Because if at all we are having a low self-esteem, we cannot become a confident person at all. We cannot become a mentally strong person at all. We cannot take the maximum advantage of our talents, our capabilities at all. So it is the increase the self-esteem. The third major benefit of assertiveness skills is that is effective conflict resolution. Conflicts keep arising with the passage of time, one or the other. But dear friends, we need to resolve it. We need to learn to resolve it. Because if at all we are not resolving this conflicts, it means that we people are moving backward. We are losing everywhere else. I'm not suggesting at all that we should try to usurp the right of anyone else at all. We should try to defeat anyone else at all unethically, immorally, in an unfair manner. Absolutely not. but the conflict resolution in a justified manner that creates a win-win situation, and that goes into the best interest of ourselves. So the third major benefit of learning the assertiveness skills is that it is quite effective in the conflict resolution. Now the fourth major benefit of this assertiveness skills is better communication. Communication matters and matters a lot really. How good you are at communicating your thoughts and feelings, your needs, your experiences, your reflections, your feedback, your constructive criticism. I think that is better communication, because unless and until we are a good communicator, we cannot survive honorably in this society, in any other society at all. Now the fifth major benefit of this assertiveness skills is reduced stress and anxiety. Stress and anxiety, it spoils our life, and that is a painful style of living. We need to manage our stress, we need to manage our anxiety. As for these assertiveness skills are concerned, these are great help indeed in managing, in reducing rather, our stress and anxiety. The sixth major benefit of assertiveness skills is increased productivity. It makes us a more productive person. It makes us a more effective person. It does not, it does not, it does not render us a lame duck at all. Rather, we become having a person of increased productivity. The seventh and the last major benefit of this assertiveness skills is enhanced leadership skills. That is, of course, the biggest achievement. Enhanced leadership skills because of the assertiveness skill. Because if at all somebody is not a good communicator, they cannot become a leader at all. Nobody can become a leader unless and until they are a very good communicator. They are having the leadership skills. So we talked about the definition of assertiveness skills. We talked about the key characteristics of it. We talked about the benefits of it. Now we are going to talk about the assertiveness styles. What are the styles of the assertiveness? So there are four styles. Four styles of the assertiveness. The one is passive avoidant. That is totally an absolute failure. Passive avoidant, no, not at all. The second reaction, the first reaction, the first possible reaction, the first option adopted by the many people, it is the passive avoidant style, that you are not fighting, contesting for your rights or what is right in your opinion. The second style is aggressive confrontational, aggressive and confrontational. That is also not the best one, although it is better than the passive avoidant, but it is not the best option at all. The third option for us the humans is the passive aggressive indirect. The passive aggressive indirect, it means that you are aggressive, but you are very carefully aggressive, and you are showing this aggression, you are trying to harm or malign the other person, you are advocating your own case, but in the absence of those people you are not confronting them. Now the fourth and the last style for us is, it is the assertive style. Assertive style says direct and respectful. Direct and respectful. Direct on the one hand, respectful on the other hand. I think that is the best possible option anywhere else where we have to talk about our rights. Now, the fifth and the next, you know, part of this assertiveness skills is assertiveness techniques. There are certain techniques of assertiveness as well, and these are the seven techniques. The first is using I statement. I statement mean use I somewhere in your sentences, either to begin with it or to put it somewhere in the in the center of it, or even at the end of it, but using I statement. The second assertiveness technique is active listening. We talked about it. What is the active listening? The third is that is that is non-verbal communication. Also, we need to pay attention to the non-verbal communication, like the body language, like the facial impression, like the gestures, like the eye contact, like all the non-verbal cues, non-verbal communication. The fourth assertiveness technique is setting boundaries. The fifth assertiveness technique is saying no. Saying no politely but firmly. Say no wherever you think you need to say, but without feeling guilt at all, without, do it politely, do it firmly. The sixth assertiveness technique is asking for clarification. The seventh assertiveness technique is providing feedback. Providing feedback. So now the next part of this is the steps to develop assertiveness. So there are again 7 steps to develop the assertiveness. The first one is identify your communication style. The second is practice self awareness. The third is set clear boundaries. The fourth is use I statements. The fifth is engage in active listening. The sixth is develop emotional intelligence. The seventh is seek feedback and support. Now, the next part of this topic is challenges to assertiveness. Challenges to assertiveness, the hurdles we may come across, we will come across while we are on our way to assertiveness. The first one is the fear of rejection or conflict. The fear of rejection and conflict, this will demotivate us, this will try to stop us from being assertive. Now the second is, low self-esteem. The third is people pleasing. The fourth challenge is difficulty saying no. The fifth demotivator is fear of being perceived as aggressive. The sixth major challenge or the hurdle is, that is cultural or social norms. The seventh is past experiences, traumas and bullying. So these are the 7 challenges, hurdles on our way to being an assertive person. So we need to do something about these challenges, about these hurdles, about these obstacles, about these demotivators. Now let's go to the next part of it. It says, it addresses, it gives us the way to overcome those challenges, those hurdles, those obstacles, those demotivators, and these are overcoming challenges. The first one is seek support from trusted individuals, seeking support from the trusted individuals. The second is practice mindfulness and self compassion. Practicing mindfulness on the one hand, self-compassion on the other hand. Mindfulness means that not to dwell in the past at all, not to live in the future at all. Learn from the past, plan for the future, but live in the present. Focus on the present moment, like practicing yoga, like practicing breathing techniques, like practicing the meditation. So these are the mindfulness exercises, and also practice mindfulness and self-compassion as well. What is this self-compassion? It means that, being kind-hearted toward oneself. Once you suffer a setback, once you fail somewhere, once you are injured, once you are frustrated, once you are somewhat, upset, we need to treat ourselves with the kindness, with the understanding. So that is called self compassion. It is practice mindfulness and self compassion. The third way to overcome the challenges, it is develop self awareness. The fourth way to overcome the obstacles, the challenges, that is learning to reframe the negative thoughts. The fifth way to overcome the challenges, the hurdles, the difficulties, it is engage in assertiveness training, engaging in the assertiveness training. The sixth way to overcome the challenges, the obstacles, that is focus on building self confidence, focus on building self-confidence. The seventh way of overcoming the challenges, it is celebrate small success, celebrating small success, small achievements as well. So, my dear friends and fellows, these are assertiveness exercises. There are certain assertiveness exercises. The first one is practice saying no without any sort of justification. Practice saying no without justification. We are not bound to give the justification. Rather, we need to say no. If at all we think that this is not good for me, we are not bound, to even give the justification, but practice saying no. The second assertiveness exercise, it is use I statements in the daily conversation. The third assertiveness exercise, it is set boundaries with a friend or family member. As a practice, setting boundaries with a friend or with a family member, no go areas, prohibited areas. Now the fourth is engage in active listening exercises, engaging in the active listening exercises. The fifth is role play, assertive scenarios, mean just practicing, just assuming, just imagining, visualizing that you are becoming a very assertive person. So these are assertiveness exercises. Now we need to remember certain things. Remember, assertiveness is a skill that can be learned. Assertiveness is a skill that can be learned. Number two, practice improves, take you to the excellence. Practice does improve you a lot. If at all you are practicing, you will keep improving. And remember, self awareness is the key. Remember, boundaries are essential. Remember, assertiveness enhances relationship and overall well being. Now, this is, I think, first of all, we talked about the definition of assertiveness skill. We talk about the key characteristics of assertiveness skill. We talk about the major benefits of assertiveness skill. We talked about assertiveness styles. Excuse me. We also talked about assertiveness techniques. We talked about steps to develop assertiveness. We talked about challenges to assertiveness, the hurdles, the obstacles to assertiveness. Then we talked about overcoming the challenges on our way to the learning the and practicing the assertiveness skill. And then we talked about the assertiveness exercises. We also talked about there are certain things to remember. Finally, only few sentences. Develop assertiveness skills to communicate effectively. Develop assertiveness skills to communicate effectively, build confidence, and improve relationships. I think we need to do that. So there are, in the nutshell, there are three major benefits. One is communicating effectively, building confidence, and improving the relationship. So that's all from me today. Assertiveness skills are highly important indeed. Thank you very